bringing you some of the best speakers and teachers from across the globe. Their words inspiring you towards your best days. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast, Speakers Hub.
Good morning. We are back again with the Speaker Hub from the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. Now I have another motivator to help push you through the start and the rest of your week. The legend that is Zig Ziglar is in session today. I'll be sharing with us the power of choice and how hope can really reinforce the things that you told yourself were not possible.
I'm a lot more concerned about what my grandchildren think about me than about what I think of my grandparents. I think that's the important thing. It begins with us and the realization that, yes, there is so much inside of us. And, as an example to show you what's there that you might not have really recognized, when you look at what life has to offer, I'd like to share with you about a young man named Vince Robert, 37 years old. How old are you? Finished the 5th grade. How much education do you have? He drove a taxi. What's your job? Now, under those circumstances, most people would say, well, that fellow doesn't have much of a future, does he? Matter of fact, someday he'll probably be on government subsidy. But one day he went in the bookstore and he bought a book. He spent hours, in front of the hotels and airports waiting on a fare. He bought a book. He bought a Webster's dictionary. Instead, you know why Webster wrote the dictionary? His wife kept asking him, now, what does that mean? He laid the dictionary on the, and as you've already discovered, I tell folks I'm like a cross-eyed discus thrower. I don't set any records, but man, I keep the crowd alert. And I think that's important. He set the dictionary there on the front seat of his taxi, and starting on word 1, page 1, he started memorizing every one of them, the dictionary. If you don't like who you are and where you are, don't sweat it. You're not stuck either with who you are or where you are. You can grow, you can change. And so what he started doing, what Vince started doing, memorizing those words, and all of a sudden he started understanding things he'd only been hearing and seeing. And he started taking every dime he could scrape up and investing in the stock market. He ended up buying the 19-car cab company. Today, he's a wealthy man. He travels Canada telling people how he did it. And in your own life, hope just took a big step up. Man, if that guy can do that, I can too. Now, you need to understand a couple of things. First of all, he didn't start investing one day and buy the cab company the next day. Second thing you need to understand was the fact that his patience also involved a certain amount of sacrifice. You see, he gave up some of the things he wanted now. He didn't buy fancy clothes, fancy cars, fancy apartment. He gave up what he wanted now for some of the things he really wanted later on. That's called self-control. That's called maturity. When you find people who are wealthy or successful, you will find that that's one of the qualities which they have in big time. Now, what I want to get at here is something very simple. You cannot become what you need to be by remaining what you are. The growth has got to be a very important part of it. But you can take radical changes in minute steps. What did he do? He learned one word at a time. He invested $1 at a time. He didn't wait till he had $1,000 to start buying stock. He had a few dollars and he invested them, and a few more dollars and invested them, and never cashed dividends. He said, give me more stock for that. We need to be patient. We need to have a plan and to understand that you can make radical changes in minute steps. Earthquakes and hurricanes get all of the publicity, but termites do more damage than both of them put together. And the termite takes bites which are so small with the naked eye you can't see them. But oh, do those little boogers take lots of bites. And there are tons or millions of them. We can take minute steps and make some remarkable progress in our lives, especially if we keep doing it day after day after day. And that's why hope's so important. You see, when the going gets tough, the hopeful keep going. But the hope needs to be fueled with encouragement. That's why we said so many times about Automobile University, encouragement, 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 because, there are some people who basically are negative and they want you to join them. Heard about a fellow that lived in a little town that wanted to start a pessimist club. The vote was 37-0 not to do it because nobody thought it'd work. I mean, there are those people, wherever we go. But let me also say that necessity or desire breeds hope. Either necessity or desire, that fuels hope. For 24 years of my adult life, by choice, I weighed well over 200 pounds. I say by choice simply because I've never accidentally eaten anything in my life. Always choice. Now, if I choose to eat too much, then I have chosen to weigh too much. During those 24 years, I lost roughly 2,000 pounds. That's not a big deal. You take it off, you put it on, you take it off, you put it on. I tried every diet known to man. I tried the 30-day diet and lost a month. But I was serious about it. I dieted religiously. I mean, I quit eating in church. I did the whole 9 yards. I got on a serious exercise program. Up until then, my idea of exercise simply was to fill the tub, take a bath, pull the plug, and fight the current. I mean, that was it. And that's not much of an exercise program. But an interesting thing, when I started eating sensibly and exercising sensibly, in 10 months' time, I lost the 37 pounds I needed to lose. Now put your pencil to it. That means I lost an average of 1 9/10 ounces a day, every day, for 10 months. And anybody who has a weight problem that seems to keep coming and staying too long, you just had hope born in your life because you just said, I can do that. I could learn a word a day. I could invest $1 a day. I could do that. And that's when people get busy. If you can't take a huge step to begin with, take as big a step as you can, but take it now. That's the key. Take it now. On this health bid, also doing big things in a certain amount of time. When I wrote, see you at the top, 384 pages, I did it in 10 months. That means I wrote 1 1/4 pages a day, on average, every day for 10 months. A lot of would-be authors will hear this. I encourage you, start writing your book today. Doesn't have to be monumental. If it never gets published, it doesn't matter. It will do you more good than anything you'll ever do. You know why? It'll clarify your thinking. It'll clarify you and let you know exactly what you are thinking about and what your dreams and what your goals in life are. The long-range benefits of all of this are enormous. I know this will stun most of you because most people, when they see me, figure I'm probably in my early 30s or something like that. But I'm 72 1/3, folks. A few months ago, I stayed on the treadmill at the Cooper Clinic 3 minutes and 10 seconds longer than I'd been able to stay when I was 45 years old and in miserable condition. It's amazing what a little effort every day, a little reading every day, a little kindness every day, a little thoughtfulness every day. That's the way you raise positive kids in a negative world. That's the way you build a magnificent marriage. That's the way you win scholarship. That's the way you do anything. It's not the honeymoon that makes the difference. It's what you do when you get back from the honeymoon that's going to make the difference. The plans that you have and the consistency of following through. And a lot of people say, well, Zig, that sounds pretty good, but let me tell you about all the problems I've had in the past. People love pity parties, don't they?
If you would like to watch that video, it can be found on YouTube and it's called Hope, the Foundation for Successful Change from the Zig Ziglar Topic YouTube channel. If you do want to start chasing your dream and reaching for the stars, well, right now is the best time to actually start. Don't just sit there. Don't let it fester anymore. You can either grab the opportunity or let it pass you away and lose some value. Be realistic now. Time is ticking away. Get yourself on the calendar to book your free 30-minute LDL power call. It is free after all. Let's get you moving in the right direction before you lose sight of it. And after all, what's the realistic outcome here? You try and you ignore it. You can let the opportunity sit there untouched because you haven't taken any action. I'll speak to you on the call, but for now, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.
The Learn, Develop, Live podcast, trying to help you understand this crazy world we live in.
Thanks for listening. You can find more motivation and inspiration at learndeveloplive.com. And we'll be back to inspire you again tomorrow.